Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another ear tip review. And today we are tackling the question, how good can a literal, no-name liquid silicone foam ear tip from Aliexpress be? And we directly jump into it. This is the ear tips you will be getting. They clock in at €12 for 3 pairs. The S I have here because I'm wearing S. And according to their measurements, S is 9.7 millimeters, M is 10.3, and L is 11.5. And again, I'm stressing according to their measurements, because yes, I have no clue how they got these measurements. This is completely wrong. Nothing of these works out, and I really don't know how they got this. The S I have here, which is the only one I can wear because I have a small ear canal, as said multiple times in other reviews before. S is already 10.5 millimeters, and 10.5 millimeters includes me squishing this already lightly to measure it. That's 10.5. Not squished, it's probably more in the 11 millimeter range. So it's not a real S, it's more like an MS or something like that. M then is 11.7 millimeters and L is 13.1. So that means size-wise overall, with this 3-pack that you get, we do like an SS, but we also like an XL. Because I definitively have heard people having big ear canals, and then you want a 40 millimeters ear tip to fit basically all ears. But yeah, they only also sell this 3-pack, so you will always be getting 3. And that means price per pair, I forgot, is always $4. Give or take in dollars, it's then, I don't know, like how much is the dollar at the moment, like €12, it's like $14, I think, I don't know. So yeah, and then comfort and fit, and I will be comparing this to the Z reviews, or Zeos Render ear tip, because that's the other foam silicone ear tip I have here. And I really was not a fan of the Render. It was too hard, it didn't really squish, it didn't comply that well, and also the shape wasn't that great. And so I didn't expect much of this, but I was just curious how well, and literally no name. Again, let me stress, this ear tip does not have a name. There's no brand. It's literally just liquid silicone ear tip. And oh, as a quick, I forgot in the introduction here, you can find this on Aliexpress by searching for, let me now read the very catchy name for you. Liquid silicone, slow rebound, memory cotton earbud earplugs ear tip. Super catchy name, amazing. So they don't really thought about anything else, just put basically keywords for search in the name and call it a day. Absolutely amazing. Thumbs up for that. But yeah, come back to comfort. So I really, coming from a place where I didn't like the previous iteration, I was really surprised when this actually isn't bad at all. So one thing that I do think makes a huge difference here, the foam we're using here is less dense. I'm not sure if the camera can capture it well. Let me get them both close here. The left one seems to have like air bubbles that are slightly bigger or slightly more overall. So that means this one is a bit softer overall. And what I also noticed, due to this having a bit of spiel around the foam here, it already means it will comply a bit more before you come to the foam part. And then the foam itself, yes, as I said, seems to be a bit softer. So that means I can get this to fit much better than I could get the Render. And helping with that is also that the shape of this is way more normal. It's just regular as cone-shaped silicone. And that combined with the thicker ring around the outlet that is still squishy enough because it's liquid silicone, means I can get this to fit pretty damn comfortably and also fit very safely. Again, probably into the ring on the outlet here. And also again, the material helps because again, it's liquid silicone, it's sticky. I do like this. It fits comfortably and it fits safely. And I can wear this for, give or take, 1 or 2 hours before I notice it causes a good amount of pressure in my ear. But it's not uncomfortable pressure. It's not like the Render here where I was like, ooh, this is hurting my ear canal, oof, get this out. No, this is pressure, but it's not that uncomfortably. And so compared to other liquid silicone ear tips, sure, it's not as comfy as those, but it's not much less comfy overall. And that then directly brings me to noise isolation here, because what this gets you is obviously better noise isolation. The mantle on the outside here is relatively thick, the core is medium, and you get the foam overall, plus the ring around the outlet. I did expect this to isolate really, really well. And while it does isolate a bit better, it's unfortunately not as good as I expected. So it is better than most silicone ear tips out there. Again, my artificial ranking scale for isolation, where 10 is super dense foam that fits perfectly well, and 1 is super floppy, thin silicone with a really thin core. Everything is thin essentially. This one managed like a 7 and a 7.5, and that means it is definitively in the realm of other foam tips out there, and a bit better than most silicone, but not much better. I guess the main problem with this is my ear canal is too small for this. So usually on most nozzles, this is just a bit big, and that means I can't get the IEM to fit my pinner as tightly as with the other more smaller silicone ear tips, and that means I lose some isolation here. But overall, if you get this to fit right, I'm pretty sure you can also stretch this to like an 8 in terms of isolation. Yeah, just because the material here would allow that. Then next, shaping sound. And again, just subjective first, where I just listen to the ear tip in comparison to other ones. And then after that, I measure it. But everything subjective is written before I do any measurements. And I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I think this sounds just like a regular silicone ear tip. It is slightly less bright than the original liquid silicone ear tip, which is also a bit longer than this one, but it's not much less bright. So it's just pretty damn average in terms of bass and treble overall, and I don't really perceive any difference here. And objective here, again, I measure the quintet and the AGA7M because I know those IEMs, I like their tunings, they reach past 10K easily, so this is a pretty good benchmark here. And as you can see by measurements, it measures pretty similar to other medium wide outlet ear tips. However, there's one difference here. Note on the AGA7M with this one, similar to other longer liquid silicone ear tips like the one from Softears, this seems to boost frequencies at like 15 kHz and above. And again, the coupler is not really accurate there, and to my ear, I don't perceive it, but this is just telling you what the coupler is showing there. So could be an artifact, could be real, depends on your ear, and for me personally, I didn't notice it. And then last but not least, additional factors. And here we have a bit to tackle, because similar to other foam silicone ear tips, you definitively when cleaning don't want to rinse this underwater. Otherwise this foam will soak full and you will never get the foam dry correctly. Outside of maybe you pull it out here, but then the question is will you get it in as well, and I would say just don't bother. Use a wet cloth, maybe with a bit of soap to clean this, and definitely don't rinse it. And I don't know how liquid silicone works with alcohol, so I would also say probably just stick with some light soap and water in a cloth to just wipe it. And other than that, I mean, yeah, longevity-wise, I don't know so far. I've been wearing this for only a couple weeks, and it does look pretty similar to how it was before, and it feels pretty similar. But again, it's a two-part design. That means there's more room for failure, more room for errors, more room for anything to go wrong. So keep that in mind when you think about longevity here. And yeah, that brings me to the conclusion already. Color me surprised when this arrived here and actually I got what was advertised, and it actually is not bad at all. Like, damn, I did not expect a no name. Literally again, it doesn't have a name. There's no brand. It's just liquid silicone foam ear tip. That has actually turned out pretty good. I would take this on any day of the week over the Render ear tip. Like, it's not even close. The Render is not playing in the same ballpark as this one. It's really, Render is, well, this one is. So while you still would want to have a more dense and more, as I said, not so squishy ear tip, and you need to know what you'll be getting, I think with that, it's actually pretty decent. And I would have recommended this if not for the fact this is from a random Aliexpress store. I will not read out the very catchy name of this ear tip, but just go back to the beginning of this review. You can find it with that. But again, the store is just a random DIY audio store. Exists since 2022, and we are selling components for DIY audio. The store itself is well enough rated on Aliexpress, but that doesn't mean anything essentially. So just the fact that you can't buy this from a reputable seller and you just find it on Aliexpress prevents me from giving this a recommendation. Because I don't want to cause any additional risk for you. And so even the $8 that this would cost, or the $10, whatever, it's probably a bit much for me to recommend it, but if you know the risks, and if you know that this is not as squishy as normal silicone ear-tips, honestly, this is not bad. And if anybody be interested in the product link, I will put it on your comment, but I don't want to put it in the But I don't want to put it in the video description because I don't want to advertise it. I will just give it to you if you really want it. And that's it. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. My detour to the random lands of AliExpress and seeing what you get there. And if you have any other recommendations on interesting, weird AliExpress products that might still be cool, or anything else, or criticisms, please leave a comment. Donspektor out.